sidu, and they were having a run, definitely. Here's their year. So sidu, they had just run, now they're pulling back. And somebody had said their level was 380, so they went below that. So if people were interested, and I compare them to, you have Planet Labs rise the last year. Crazy, a successful execution, people. That's what a year could look like. And also, well, Black Sky, now PL is definitely, I want to say they're quite a superior. Well, even this rise is not a bad one, but they were more than that. So, but anyways, I have this one, and here's this group that I have on X that I didn't realize I had over 1,000 people in it. No one ever looks at any of it though. I don't know, but I had put the moves that I have in this individual Schwab, and what I do is at the end of the year I'll move them out or I'll sell for some profits on these, and then I will put it in my Roth. So that's what I'm doing with it. I wish I didn't put the stupid fucking GIVO in. GIVO always gets me. I don't know why I have such attachment. It's a clean energy stock, people. They're just not the way. But now I'm glad though, because if GIVO just needs a little catalyst, and hopefully this situation in what we have going on, that can sometimes be a catalyst for GIVO there. So I'm hoping, because I work more lase. God, I'm bullish on lase. So, and then silo sucks. I hate it as much as I hate trying to use a computer. Anyways, and then BSNLF, that one's the little helium one, which isn't on there, but because I can't get it to work. That one. So, and I only have like 130 on that one. So MILIF and the other mining one, AAUF, except I think AAUF is more than just exploratory. I have to look, but that one does okay. And I had sold some of that one for the profits, so I'm holding like half of that one, and then this one, uranium one for dividend, and then that IVPAF, that one, copper, and the sulfur. And then TRT did very well in this one, so keeping it. I usually, like I said, I try to make these things for a year, and then I can sell them, because I have 7,500 I have to put in these IRAs. But anyways, with our sidu people, they serves government, intelligence, customers, key relationship, Lone Star Data Holdings. Now their 120 million contract for 6 data storage spacecraft. Little Place Labs for maritime intelligence via LizzieSat powered vessel detection. Reflex Aerospace for joint constellation service, and the Netherlands organization for a laser communication satellite. So, if they can name something. And then their big catalyst that we had saw at the start was when they were named as a contract awardee. But now they have to actually get a contract, because just because they can doesn't mean it's a funded order, right? But it was a big deal. So the core behind the Lone Star is every piece of critical digital infrastructure on Earth has one fundamental vulnerability. It's on Earth. Data centers can be hit by cyber attacks, natural disasters, EMP, increasing geopolitical seizure. Lone Star sees this archiving data on the moon and in lunar orbit protects it from any terrestrial disruption. So that's what they're, while also enabling edge computing for future lunar activity without latency penalty. Okay, so if sidu can start, they prove the concept, flew storage payload on intuitive machine, the first U.S. vehicle to land on the moon. So this Lone Star one, Star Vault is where they graduates from experiment to commercial project. Star Vault combines Lone Star's cryptographic key escrow based data storage, meaning not only is your data stored off planet, but the encryption key that unlocks it are also in orbit, making it physically impossible for any terrestrial actor to seize or decrypt your data. That seems like a lot of work, but if you have governments, that's who I look for. Who's buying governments? So if that can get going, because sidu, a launch customer of rideshare operator, they're the manufacturer and mission operator. Under the 120 million, sidu is designing, building 6 lunar storage data spacecraft, handling payload integration, launch planning, and on-orbit support, with the first multi-petabyte perpet data storage spacecraft targeting the Earth, Moon, all of these things. So I would like sidu to get some more contracts, and I think they can ramp up. And now they're on a pullback, which I like. SpaceX launches for them, not Rocket Lab, but launched SpaceX transporter. So they have been going March 2024, people. They are a little competitor here, a rising one. So I want them to do something. They don't have anything with Rocky Lab targeted for the late 2026 launches. These will be important, people, very important for the rise. And we have Valin. Now this one, it chips, and they were certainly in the shitter. And their previous, they're 248. So Valin's earnings is coming up May 13th. So if they're guiding revenue 16.3 to 16.7. 57 to 59, adjusted meaningful sequential step down from Q4's 19.4. Management explicitly said Q1 is expected to be slower as customers work through purchases made in Q4, while also citing tariff uncertainty, which you could say the tariff uncertainty, those kind of blew over, right? So their full year 2026, 75 to 77 million, roughly 8%. See, they would need to, I don't know about this one. I like Brasso better, I think. But beating its guidance in 7 consecutive quarters. I don't know if they're going to have a big one. But see, their chipset grew. Their chipset grew nearly 25%. A top 3 Pro AV manufactured release USB extender line based on the chip. If that product launch drove pull-through demand in Q1, revenue could come in above the 16.7 high end. That would be what Valin would have to do. I don't know. If they keep rising, I don't know if I'm going to risk playing them these earnings. The third level is automotive. See, 3 European OEM design wins announced in 2024 at start production in 2026 were projected to generate over 10 million in revenue across approximately 500,000 vehicles. Q1 2026 is when those programs should start showing up as actual chipset shipments. If automotive revenue rebounds from the depressed 2025 levels, automotive was 19 million, down from 21.6 million in 2024 due to Mercedes price erosion and volume reduction. But see, because of all the tariffs that have been the way, that might not be good. So I might say I'm a little nervous for Valin, and I would have liked Valin to get into defense, but they claim they're not going to get into defense because their chipsets would be good. Right now they do them for the automotive, the electric automated vehicles, robocars. But if they can break out into the drones, but like I said, they want to focus on their cars. So I don't know about Valin. I made one of these, AXTI, IQEPF. I remember when everyone was saying Wolf was going to go under and all this stuff, and then now, I mean, we'll see. I guess these 3, ASML, LRCX, which holding some in the semi ETF, which I say I like. So this one on a rise for sure, because when you look, it also has a 3.94% dividend, and holding, that one's AMAT, LRCX, Avgo, NVIDIA. I like this ETF, people. So that one is a nice option if you want exposure to a lot of different tech companies. And I would actually say it's priced fairly reasonable at this present, and we'll see what it ends up being at year's end. The SciVep one, I think I'm going to get more SciVep too. And LWLG, Poet would be in that one as well. Poet's not on this. I wish it was, but I don't know how I was asking things. I wanted it to show the memory because we have Enlist and MRAM. And remember, Enlist is the one with these pesky lawsuits, and any beating of one, which they beat them in the past, or any money received from these lawsuits can really bump this net list up. So they're involved in this memory. And if you look at ones like, not that they got to do like MEO or SanDisk, but this is the demand of memory showing very in demand. And then MRAM's earnings, which I made a separate video about MRAM earlier. I really need these fucks to go up a lot, people. And if that happens, I will be pleased. I'd like to double my money. Right now, 50% up. So I'm hoping MRAM continues this rise. Earnings, they can show more demand, which I would like that. But those would be about a lot of the plays I like. And then GCDS, waiting on these little turds to announce another deal with some satellite carrier because they provide the chips for the devices that connect to the satellites. So can they start naming some people or customers that would shoot these guys. They're another one in my waiting pile. Oh wait, is it in this one? I think so. If it's not, yeah, it's right there. So up 15%. I'd like that to be up a lot more. I don't know if I want to sell the oil out of it. I'm going to play that oil for the year. I don't care, because this one also has a dividend, which I think I like. Anyways, I'm looking at lase. So lase is one of my littler bets. It's terrible. I can't remember if I just showed it. I went and did something for a second. But anyways, here's their year. Okay, not popping. Okay, now here's their things that I like. The laser cleaning market for real competitors. Here's either Germany and others. Far deep pockets along with customer relationship. Lase Advantage, a U.S.-based vertically integrated manufacturer with ITAR registration focused on defense-grade applications foreign competitors can't easily serve. Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard and Hemlock Semiconductor relationships real and sticky but small. Switching Cosmo is in industrial laser cleaning is moderate. So the industrial laser cleaning, that's what I think is their involvement with the AI, because they sell these equipments that clean it, whatever. Anyways, then the one about counter drone. They had sent in their lasers for the testing. Kinetic, bullets, electronic warfare, jamming, key advantage, unlimited magazine, speed of light. But I would also say their LSAT, LS80 uses visual infrared drone detection methodology for wide area situational awareness. Lase describes as a concept not yet being fielded globally. If detection architecture is proprietary and patented, it could be a genuine moat. The critical caveat from their own disclosure is stark. Significant development work remains before any commercial applications. So that's for their lasers. And directed energy counter drone is serious competition. Obviously, you have Raytheon, Lockheed, Northrop Drone Shield, but you know what else? Anduril doesn't have any lasers. So something I always wonder is if Anduril will do something with Nibiru, or now that I think maybe lase could be something, because that is something that they would want to do. Nibiru people, I am wondering. Remember, they cannot go below this 10 cents, because then we see that halt, and that is not good. And then we receive a reverse split there. So I do worry about that. But so their own is their IP, high power blue laser technology for absorption characteristics infrared lit fiber lasers. And it's especially good for copper, gold, aluminum. So material and drone electronics and circuit boards, meaning a blue laser can disable drone electronics at lower power levels than infrared equivalent. But then they got the Lyacon. So complete proof of concept for portable directed energy counter drone laser dazzlers. And it won a $250,000 deployment order for the Dazzler Tier 1 government defense electronics integrator in a major Asia Pacific market. So I think that's very promising for Buru. Originally drew me this Techni, which they had the 2.9% in January. Now they're in this 80-20, but people only want the 70%, the acquisition. So Golden Power authorization request expected to be filed April. Filing is imminent or already done. What if they just come out and say they did it? And then that would be insane. I don't know. The critical gating item. If Georgia says that they have it, they have it. And then they can have their stuff connecting to the Techni. Well, they can already do this. They already have this agreement, the 80-20 joint venture. So this is just the icing on the cake that really the markets want to see. So anyways, I want that. And then the Maddox thing was something I didn't even know when I originally started getting fucked by this company. But the concept of the compelling containerized 3D printing platform to deploy operating bases or conflict zones, manufactures drone components, replacement parts, structural pods on demand. I saw this thing about Ukraine. They're getting stuff from people's houses all over Europe and whatnot. So, well, that's because they're not in NATO, so they can really get any type of stuff. But NATO countries aren't going to be getting that. But anyways, I like the Jason Maddox government contract getter. His team, Social Forces, Intelligent Veteran Engineering, Combat Tested Innovation Design Intelligence, including direct experience supporting allied operations. Very knowledgeable people. And that is what I like, this connection. So I think I might add Buru into, actually, I think there is Buru in that one. And then I'll add some more and see where our Buru takes us this year, people. I did say, though, that I wanted to be smarter in this group. I changed it from high risk investing because I think we should be more cognizant, which, as I'm saying, I'm going to buy more Buru, but it's all about timing, and I really think it might be different. But anyways, I'll be posting more of my plays in the Road to a Million X group, which I don't know how I'm going to do this. If it gets traction, I'll keep doing it, but if it doesn't, I'll forget.